The Blood-Drawn Chronicles, Season 2, The Ballad of House M, is brought to you thanks to the generous donations of viewers like you. Thank you. If you would like to make a donation towards our next season, titled Season 3, Psalm of the Hellborn Prince, visit www.tbdcpodcast.com for more information. On behalf of everyone here at DigiFox Studios, we want to thank you for listening, and now our story begins.
June 30th, 1690. Madame de Leon provided me with an address that led to a rather large estate located just on the outskirts of Paris. At first glance, one could not help but be mesmerized by the enormous monumental structure that was this chateau. From an aerial view, its sheer size rivaled even that of my father's castle. It was a perfect jewel in the center of the most alluring green landscape. Statues of angels adorned every corner. Flowers carved from stone around every window frame. This was truly a palace fit for a king. I descend to the ground slowly until I place myself within knocking distance at the front door. I gently knock and patiently await to be greeted. As moments go by with no answer, I try again. With the same outcome, I quickly begin to suspect Madame de Leon purposely leading me to a dead end. As moments continue to pass, I begin to focus my senses to what stood through the door in front of me. Throughout the entire castle, I can sense no forms of life, no hearts beating, no footsteps echoing, nor even whispers traveling. Growing weary of games, I force my way inside. Advancing forward, I find my way through several hallways, each leading to specific areas in the house. Family rooms, dining halls, living chambers. With every hallway I pass, the signs of a vacant house become more apparent. Was Madame de Leon foolish enough to try and trick me? Is she perhaps in the midst of leaving this city? Try as she might, I will not allow her to make a fool of me. I continue forward, hoping for her sake to find any sign of intelligent life within this castle's walls. Just then, as I exit one of the halls, the all-too-familiar scent of burning wax catches my attention. Quickly I head towards its direction. I open the door to the room that undoubtedly hides the fire's origins. Candle lights illuminate a large stain-finished cupboard. A large tea set is placed around the candle. I remained dumbfounded as my eyes witnessed the teapot pouring its contents into one of the teacups.
How do you take your tea?
I turn to find a pair of glowing yellow eyes similar to that of Tyrus Godfrey's and the Horde King's, staring at me through the darkness at the end of the room. As I advanced, I found myself somewhat muddled to discover the pair of glowing eyes belonged to a toddler-sized man, dressed in fine silks lined in gold. He sits comfortably on a chair designed to sit a man of his stature properly on a table. The chair, parallel from where he sat, pulled itself from the table. Eagerly now, he invites me to sit. As I do, 2 teacups from the cupboard find their way to the table where I now sat. He takes a sip of his tea and gestures for me to do the same with the cup in front of me. I place both my sword and satchel on the table and enjoy the cup offered to me.
By the way, you owe me a new front door.
No one answered.
No one poured you a cup of tea, either.
This castle is enchanted.
Enchanted? Oh, heavens, no. No, this castle is just lonely.
He leaned back, twiddling his fingers. Soon, the tea inside his cup started floating in the air. Liquid began dancing all around me, following the rhythm of his fingers until he stopped, and the tea nestled back into the cup from where it came. He looks at me, awaiting a response to the anomaly he so effortlessly performed, to which I answer, "Where is the master of this castle?"
Other than my height, what makes you think I'm not he?
It's not so much your height as much as it is your ears, my good sir. True-borns are born with pointed ears. Since you do not possess such a feature, then I am obviously speaking to a blood-born servant and not the master.
What a brilliant observation you've just made. Then again, I see from your sword that you've spent quite some time with the gallows.
Who are you, sir?
You're the one that barged into my house.
Very well, then. For the sake of proper introduction, I shall allow you to ask me any 3 questions about me that you'd wish, after which you shall answer all of mine.
Only 3 questions, Let's see here. What don't I already know about you? You're not from this world. Then there's your daddy issues. And let's not forget you're an outcast. What else is there? Besides the affection you share for your uncle. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to find a good question, I swear. There's just not a lot about you I don't already know, or at least haven't put together yet, Mr. Myrick.
Who are you?
Wait, it's still my turn after all.
We can skip all that.
Skip all that? Well, now you're just making up the rules as you go. I'm afraid I've already accepted your game, son of Maya. And if there's one thing you should know about me, it's that when I play a game, I play it all the way through.
I warn you not to toy with me.
Oh, what? You'll do to me what you did to the men in that brothel?
Do not make the mistake of thinking you are the first vampire to test the might of a Valpir.
A Valpir, that's what you are. That was going to be my first question, actually. Shame, now I'll have to think of another. Oh, calm yourself, Myrick. I'm not your enemy. On the contrary, I'm positively fascinated by you. So, what do you say? Just this once, we ignore your silly game and share a cup of tea as friends often do.
I say, tea sounds wonderful.
Did you know that though the French are known for their wine, there's no finer tea than what you'll find in the Orient?
Is that so?
Indeed, I drink it even when I'm not entertaining guests. You see, Myrick, I'm a man who enjoys the finer things in life. I explore the extraordinary. So, when I find something extraordinary in an otherwise ordinary city, I can't help but explore it further.
Madame de Leon
Is paid well for her services.
That would mean that the men in the brothel...
We're all part of the plan to see just how extraordinary you are.
How long have you known of my existence here?
From the day you arrived. You gave off the scent of a vampire, only much, much more potent. I knew then I simply had to know all about you. I mean, besides the Horde King, who ever heard of a vampire walking in the streets in broad daylight?
I am nothing like Dragon.
You've had your run-in with him then. Does that explain the sword?
He's a monster, and nothing like me.
I'll say, even the Horde King can't enter a house uninvited without bursting into flames.
That's why you didn't answer the door.
Even now you keep fascinating me. I mean, just look above you. Only one of us has a reflection in the mirror.
I must congratulate you going all this way to learn as much as you can about me.
And trust me, I intend to learn much more.
I must admit, you're quite something as well. I didn't know vampires possessed telekinetic powers. You have mastered your gift well.
Well, they don't. I was born with this gift before I ever became a vampire.
Do tell.
Very well. Where do I begin?
You can start with your birth.
Indeed. Did you know I was born on the same day as King Henry VIII?
I'm not familiar with the monarchs of this world.
Right. Well then, I was born to a very religious mother. My father, on the other hand, was a brilliant scientist with very little faith. Upon my birth, my mother wanted to be rid of me. A deformed child was proof enough for her that she had sinned against God by marrying a man of no faith. As a child, my mother detested the sight of me, and on the day I first moved a grape from the kitchen table using only my mind, my mother took a knife. "Demon child," she yelled as she prepared to plunge it at me. But the time my father arrived, she was suffocating on the floor. I was 6 when my mother took her final breath.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I've had plenty of time to get over her. More so the fact that I killed her.
And your father?
My father? I think he was more happy to be rid of her than he could possibly hide. You see, it was my father who had convinced me that I was not cursed, but rather gifted. He helped me nourish my ability. I became his pupil. And together, we invented things that could have only been achieved with my gift. My father had never been more delighted to have me as his son. Money was pouring in faster than we could possibly spend it. Life was our oyster. But then one day, my father became ill with the sweating sickness. The day after he passed was the day I discovered who my father's clients really were.
Vampires.
Yes, and one in particular, a trueborn, Lord Thomas Windsor, decided I was too valuable to lose. Against all pleas, he turned me.
Windsor's your master.
Heavens no, my gifts and I became more powerful than I could ever fathom that day. My first minute as a vampire, and I already had the power to sever a trueborn's head without flinching a muscle.
Is it not against vampire law to murder a trueborn without the permission of one of the 7?
Well, of course, but I was far too valuable to them. I must say, I did not expect you to know vampire law.
Tyrus Godfrey told me, just before I broke his neck.
You're the one who tried to kill Godfrey. They've been talking about that in certain circles. Some think the Horde King is to blame, given Godfrey's description of the assailant.
I tried killing him after he used a music box to have an acquaintance of mine kill me.
And I'm assuming it was a human acquaintance.
You know about the magic of the music box?
My dear Mr. Myrick, I'm the one who made the damn box.
You're Woodrow Carley.
The one and only.
I have so many questions.
Which is why I made more than enough tea.